Who are you, what's your role, and where do you work?
Hey, I'm Shahar Azulay, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Groundcover.
What are 3 emerging Kubernetes tools that you're keeping an eye on?
So anything from security to observability to automatically scaling Kubernetes and maintaining the scale, that's like the, I think, 3 hot topics currently in the conference and in general.
Any open source projects that you've tried out recently?
I mean, Groundcover is very involved in both OpenTelemetry, eBPF, clearly, that we're kind of very involved in. And also the databases that we use, things like ClickHouse and so on, that we're contributing to and part of.
ClickHouse, running stateful workloads on Kubernetes for some people has been a big pain point, a challenge. What's been your experience on ClickHouse?
So we actually use ClickHouse in a very unique way. We use it as part of our bring your own cloud architecture. So we actually manage a single tenant of ClickHouse in each of our customers at very high scale with high availability and the support and the SLA that our customers expect. So we're kind of a ClickHouse experts, if you like. So we definitely have a lot of experience in amazing log analytics platform, and we use it for a lot of different stuff in our platform.
One of our guests, Isala, expressed interest in using AI Ops and eBPF to build tools that make SREs' lives easier. What are your thoughts on the potential of AI and advanced observability tools to improve DevOps practices?
We definitely believe in that. I think the key part of improving observability with AI is having the right data in place, right? And Groundcover is well positioned to do that because we use Bring Your Own Cloud. We store all of the logs, metrics, and traces on the cloud premises. We actually know, and we're doing it heavily right now, building AI experiences on top of that to allow you to get to the root cause better, correlate the right data when you try to troubleshoot. That's the key points. So access to very rich data that eBPF can have, but also very privately in your cloud premises. We see it kind of as the pillar stones for these advanced AI capabilities, right?
Our guest Artem stated, if you deploy Grafana on Prometheus, it only allows you to see what's happening in the system. I think this does not solve any problems. What do you consider a complete observability solution beyond Grafana and Prometheus?
I think that Grafana and Prometheus are more built to be a monitoring stack than an observability stack, right? It's kind of the old bit and saying of, it's not the same to get insights about observability rather than just monitoring a system. So focusing on just metrics is one thing, but I think observability is correlating the right data together. So Groundcover uses actually the same sensor, the same technology basically, to correlate traces, logs, and metrics at the same place, right? That's where the magic starts to happen, because you can see a log and then the infrastructure metrics around that, or maybe a trace that just failed or was high latency around that. And this is where insights start to form, and not just raw data, if you'd like. And I think that that is hard to get without technologies like eBPF. So Prometheus, Grafana are more focused on metrics and raw data rather than these insights that you can get from collecting everything and correlating it with the right context.
Artem also mentioned successfully setting up observability tools does not necessarily equal the value generated by the company. How do you ensure your observability implementation generates business value?
So Groundcover actually doesn't price by data, right? That's the first thing that I think decouples us from the old world, where you just send, for example, 50% unusable logs that you would never query or you'd never use and still pay for them, right? I think that's the first step of providing value, is making sure that the data that you store doesn't correlate with your price, because people don't know how to control everything, and when they want to look on a very severe failure from last night, they might want to go deep, but in the usual case, they might not want to pay for these, tons of logs or metrics which are unused on a daily basis. So once we do that, we provide much more value to our customers, because we ensure that all the data is there, but they're paying correlated to their infrastructure size and not just the noise that their data creates, right? Second, we make sure that we correlate all the data in one place, or concentrate in one place. So our backend integrates with their Prometheus stack, OpenTelemetry, cloud metrics, on top of our eBPF sensor. So we can ensure that we provide value even though they're using more platforms that Groundcover might not have yet replaced. So trying to be one single pane of glass and providing a place where you can store 10x more data without being concerned of that is our way to bring value to the customers.
Kubernetes turned 10 years old last year. What do you expect in the next 10 years to come?
I think Kubernetes is still not fully mature when it comes to utilizing resources properly and making sure that people really know how to monitor their stack. People use Kubernetes because it's amazing, but mostly because they know that in 2 years they're probably going to need it as they scale, right? It doesn't mean that they know how to work with it. It doesn't mean that they're power users. And it doesn't mean that they know how to monitor it properly. I think that I see Kubernetes evolving into places where it's more and more natively integrated with solutions like Groundcover and other security solutions to provide value to the customers off the gate, right? So if you're using Kubernetes at high scale, you want to make sure you know how to monitor and secure it without bringing add-ons on top of it. And I think that that's where the community is kind of moving, to make sure that it's not just orchestration of the cluster, it's resource utilization, cost monitoring, observability, and security built into the Kubernetes project. And we see a lot of efforts around that, and I'm sure it's going to move that direction.
If there was one Kubernetes feature that you could improve, what would it be?
I think that specifically everything around the ability to understand what's happening inside a Kubernetes cluster from an infrastructure perspective when it comes to your application is where we feel a lot of pain with our customers. For example, one of the features our customers love the most, which is simple, right? Is telling you your application is running alongside other applications which might take the same resources at the same host, right? And it may explain really hard to troubleshoot issues that you just can't find, like why my server is taking so much to respond. It might be a different application interfering with its resources. So I think anything around there is still a bit raw. It requires orchestration systems like Groundcover to, complete the puzzle. I think Kubernetes will be better at that in the future.
Shahar, what's next for you?
So, Groundcover is focused on expanding its platform. We've just released RUM, reuse and monitoring at this conference, log patterns, role-based access control, really advanced. So we're expanding the platform to basically allow us to replace solutions like Datadog, New Relic, Grafana Cloud, and a lot of the vendors we compete with. The future for us is basically to keep building the platform and supporting our customers with more and more complex use cases so we can be natively integrated with their Kubernetes stack with technologies like eBPF and bring your own cloud.
I'm going to backtrack a bit, also just because you mentioned something about the connection between observability and security. So I think it was a Red Hat report that came out a few years ago that said 71% of vulnerabilities in Kubernetes came from misconfigurations. Tell me about the role of observability in that picture. How does observability relate to potential misconfigurations, vulnerabilities, and security problems in Kubernetes?
So once you use a technology like eBPF, the borderline between security and observability is kind of a gray area, right? Because, for example, Groundcover provides a map of all your APIs, for example, showing you which was encrypted, which was external facing, which included PII, right? It's observability, but focused on providing security. And the second point is trying to make sure that observability data is secure, right? Because observability data is basically the most vulnerable data that an organization has. It has logs about your customers logging into your system, doing potentially PII-related activities, right? So that's why we're also straying away from that SaaS full model that our competitors use and storing that data under the security policies of your organization inside Bring Your Own Cloud. So that's the two pieces where we see the two domains blend, making sure that the data is secure, but also making sure that the insights from the observability system are kind of looking into the security domain, right? Correlate with it with container security and with API security and other aspects.
How can people get in touch with you?
Groundcover.com has a trial. You can log in for free. You can basically use our playground, which you can experiment the platform at high scale without installing as well if you want. That's the best way to contact us. Try out the platform, see how it works for you. Try out eBPF, and talk to us when you're happy.